Oh my God, Derek!
Prepare to unleash your darkest fears with Prime Video's top 10 brutal horror movies. From heart-pounding scares to twisted tales of terror, these disturbing selections will haunt your dreams. Number 10, Butt Boy.
And he does this in sprees, almost in serial killer fashion.
Chip Gutchell lives a numbing routine, desk job, strained marriage, and zero joy. But after a routine prostate exam sparks a strange sensation, he discovers a compulsive hunger that defies logic, the ability to insert objects into his body and make them disappear. As the urge grows, so does the scale of what vanishes. When a child disappears during a school visit, Detective Russell Fox begins to suspect Chip of something far more sinister than anyone could imagine. The film blends gritty detective noir with grotesque body horror, creating a surreal and unsettling descent into addiction, guilt, and obsession. It's bizarre, deadpan, and deeply disturbing, playing it straight even as the horror spirals into the absurd. Number 9, Humane. After an environmental collapse forces global leaders to institute euthanasia to cull the population by 20%, a retired newsman convenes his 4 grown children for what should be a solemn family dinner. In a wealthy estate threatened by empty cupboards and societal decay, he reveals that he and his celebrity chef wife have volunteered to die that evening under the government's brutal program. But when something happens last moment, the door opens to chaos and savage dilemma. This dystopian horror thriller unspools like a savage dinner theater where mercy dies in the glow of desperate reasoning. Number 8, Landmine goes click.
He is standing on a bomb. If he moves, we all die.
3 American tourists, Chris, Alicia, and Daniel, venture off the beaten path into the mountains of Georgia only to have the idyll shatter when Chris steps on a landmine. He is rendered immobile, forced to watch in helpless horror as their situation spirals into nightmare. Trust fractures when Daniel's betrayal surfaces, revealing that the mine was no accident but a calculated trap born of jealousy and revenge. With rescue out of reach, a mysterious hunter arrives, his help cloaked in menace as he subjects Alicia to increasingly dehumanizing demands. The tension crescendos into a brutal, twisted game of power, humiliation, and raw vengeance that leaves no one unscathed. This relentless plunge into exploitation horror feels like a macabre inversion of survival. Hope turns poisonous, and salvation is twisted into torture. Number 7, Hobo with a shotgun.
A hobo with a shotgun.
A tired drifter rides into Hopetown seeking a fresh start, carrying dreams of buying a lawnmower. Instead, he finds a lawless slum ruled by the sadistic Drake and his twisted sons, where brutal murders, corrupt cops, and warped games of violence are daily fare. The hobo witnesses atrocities and reluctantly steps into the fray when he saves a kind-hearted sex worker named Abby from a brutal attack. Struggling in a city of despair, he seizes a shotgun instead of his mower and ignites a bloody campaign of vigilante justice that turns this hellish place upside down. As cities favor chaos over compassion and bullets become brutal sermons, allies emerge in the form of battered townsfolk. It all unfolds in hyper-stylized, outrageously gory homage to grindhouse cinema. Number 6, Afflicted. Two inseparable childhood friends dare to chase a dream of global exploration while filming their journey for a web-based travel series. Their adventure unspools like a living travelogue, with footage capturing sunlit plazas and bustling cafes, until one of them begins to suffer grotesque physical transformations. First the light burns, then vomiting, then inexplicable strength and thirst for blood as the body betrays its humanity. What starts as wanderlust morphs into a monstrous, intimate descent, the camera recording every tremor of fear and flicker of lost identity. Tension mounts as loyalty fractures and desperation takes root, turning familiar companionship into a frantic struggle for survival against the infected self. The film carries raw immediacy in its found footage conceit, each reel unspooling dread with visceral realism. Number 5, Deathgasm.
When
wouldn't be crazy if the music had something to do with demons.
Brody is an awkward metalhead exiled to live with his ultra-religious aunt and uncle in a small New Zealand town. He quickly bonds with Zach, a fellow outcast, and together they form a garage band called Deathgasm. But when they discover ancient sheet music hidden in a forgotten vinyl, they unknowingly summon a demonic force that turns townsfolk into snarling, blood-soaked monsters. Armed with axes, guitars, and chainsaws, the bandmates must shred their way through undead carnage and satanic chaos, all while navigating teenage crushes and betrayal. It's gory, crude, and hilariously unhinged, screaming with the spirit of horror and heavy metal rebellion. Number 4, Frozen.
I don't want to die of it! Help!
Three friends, Dan, his girlfriend Parker, and his best friend Joe, take one last ski lift ride before the resort shuts down, only to find themselves stranded high above the slopes as night descends. With the mountain closed for days, they face bone-deep cold, gnawing isolation, and the cruel tick of hypothermia. Dan believes he must leap to safety and fractures his legs on impact, leaving Joe and Parker to stare at the abyss. Wolves circle unseen in the darkness, their howls a chilling reminder of how thin survival can be. Every choice feels like a razor's edge: cling to the chair or risk the plunge to death or worse. Directed by Adam Green, Frozen turns its single setting into a frigid crucible, marrying visceral dread with survival horror in every breath. Number 3, the Advent Calendar.
Tu devrais arrêter avec ce calendrier, ça va te rendre dingue.
Ava, once a promising dancer, now inhabits a desolate routine from her wheelchair, plagued by isolation. A distant father drifting into Alzheimer's, and a cruel stepmother. On her birthday, she receives a mysterious antique wooden advent calendar from her friend Sophie, an elegant talisman promising change door by door. Each day's confections yield uncanny results, sometimes a fleeting ray of hope, other times grotesque and deadly repercussions, binding Ava in a slow, addictive contract of power and sacrifice. What begins as wish fulfillment twists into terror as the lives of those around her fray under the calendar's dark bargain. The film unfurls like a deadly countdown, each door a new test of morality and desperation. It's eerie, surreal, and quietly relentless. Number 2, Nefarious.
I get off on this.
Back up! Back up!
On the eve of his execution, a notorious death row inmate submits to a psychiatric evaluation that should be straightforward, but the killer speaks in chilling tongues, claiming he is no man but a demon named Nefarious. The psychiatrist, tasked with determining his mental competence, finds himself drawn into a psychological labyrinth where sinister truths twist the boundaries between sanity and possession. As the clock ticks toward lethal electric chair judgment, manipulations deepen and accusations of demonic influence fracture the veneer of rationality. Faith, free will, and morality crash together in a terrifying duel of wills beneath the glow of institutional scrutiny. Nefarious is a grim, faith-charged psychological horror that dares to ask whether evil can wear a human mask and whether belief alone can withstand it. Number 1, Frailty. A weathered man shows up in an FBI office, bearing a confession that drips with dread and haunted memory. He recounts a childhood in dusty Texas under a father gripped by divine visions, convinced he is commanded to destroy demons disguised as humans. He and his brother become unwilling accomplices in a cascade of brutal murders, torn between loyalty, terror, and the fracturing of faith. Flashbacks interlock with present-day interrogation, weaving a silent, suffocating tension where every act feels justified by holy delusion. It's a dark gospel of twisted morality that tightens the grip long after the screen fades. Directed by Bill Paxton in his assured debut, Frailty is a chilling testament to storytelling stripped of irony and steeped in zeal. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. Henry, portrait of serial killer.
Don't do that, Otis. She's your sister.
This raw psychological horror trails a drifter named Henry as he embarks on a merciless crime spree across America, murdering with disturbing detachment. Alongside him is Otis, a prison friend, introducing Otis's sister Becky into a fraught, violent triangle. Based loosely on real-life killers, the film strips away glamour to present a brutally candid look at a psychopath's activities. From the dark. A couple stranded in the remote Irish countryside is stalked by a supernatural creature that only operates under cover of darkness. As night extends, their fear intensifies, turning isolation into a predator's playground. The film delivers a taut, primal fight-to-survive scenario rooted in rural dread. Violet.
We don't like to waste things in this neighborhood.
I'm playing parents.
In a rural town haunted by the mystery of disappearing children, a mentally unwell mother named Sonia senses that something more sinister watches over her daughter. Her growing paranoia and dread infuse the film with an eerie, suffocating tension as she confronts unseen evil. Amulet. A homeless ex-soldier named Tomas accepts shelter in a crumbling London home inhabited by a young woman and her ailing mother. Beneath the guise of charity, the house conceals disturbing supernatural secrets that destabilize him. The film is a slow-burning blend of psychological dread and haunting folklore.